positions. 11, they should be treated as such. The Bears are back, baby!
Hello and welcome back to episode 47 of I75 Live. We've got a pretty good one today. We are covering the AFC North and have a special Steelers fan with us. Terrible Tal. Never thought I'd see it sitting next to me. But he's very knowledgeable of the Steelers. I think very knowledgeable of that division.
Super fan.
One of the best
I would
divisions
say
in
he
football,
travels,
too.
I think, all over the country. He mentioned that he's going to
The Ireland game.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll touch on that. That'll be really cool. But he's definitely a Steelers super fan, so that will be interesting to get his take on that. We also, as we've kind of mentioned a bunch of times, have a ton of Bengals fans.
Yes,
they
we
weren't
do.
able to be here or on Zoom just because work-related schedules. It was kind of hard for when we record. But we have asked them to send in some videos of some expectations, what they think, especially with their rookie that
Hopefully
hasn't
some
signed.
of them mentioned Shamar Stewart and Trey
So
Hendrickson.
we have asked them, and from some of the stuff that we've gotten, it's been really good. So that will be cool to add on top of our AFC North topic as well. To start off, though, it'd be
Some contract drama.
well. Before we do that, let's go into the MLB game a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Last night,
The home run derby and the All-Star
Monday.
game. I thought it was
the home run derby was awesome.
Yeah, I think the whole Jazz Chisholm thing was pretty funny.
Yeah,
how
it
he
was.
tried to go with the whole I look like
I don't
Ken
wanna mess up
Griffey,
my
backwards
swing.
hat, untucked jersey, and he had I think three home
Finished
runs.
with 3.
So that was funny, and then he tried to like kind of defend himself,
wanna
like
mess up my
I
swing.
wasn't. Yeah.
Said
Okay.
next year if I have like 20 home runs at the turn, I'll do it and I'll do it for real this time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure, man.
Sure. You just couldn't hit home runs. But no, I thought as a whole it was very entertaining. It was a lot longer than I remember it being.
Which one, the derby?
The derby, to where it started at 8 and then didn't get over till like 10:30, where I looked at my phone and I was like, that was really long for it being what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I get it though, because it's entertainment. You know, you try to make it a show. I'm sure it was even more of a show for the people who were there.
Maybe
A little bit earlier. But I enjoyed it. I thought who ended up winning? That
was Cal Raleigh.
And he leads the MLB in home runs, so
He
it was
just
kind of only right.
Before I think he broke or tied Ken Griffey Jr.'s record for most home runs before the All-Star break. I think he broke it. I think he has 39 and Griffey ended with like 38.
Seattle Mariner. They're both Seattle Mariners, and he ended up winning. So
Griffey's also the only other Mariner to win the home run derby too.
So that was a pretty cool storyline.
Can we talk about how bad Dawson's picks were, though, on Prize Picks?
Oh, let's hear it.
He made me put in a pick real late, and
What was the parlay looking like?
It was bad.
It was so everyone decided to juice. I picked
Juice
a couple.
picks?
You picked unders.
I picked unders for the total for like the longest home run hit by
That's
each.
never a good idea.
Well, last year I did really good at it. Like last year I won.
Where was it? Do you remember what ballpark it was in? Because
it was in Seattle. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So I didn't do very good.
No, it was bad.
For bets.
It's okay.
It's okay though.
I know he didn't end up winning,
It was
but
fun.
I loved watching O'Neal Cruz hit 500 yard.
He had the
missiles.
longest. He had the long, and he
It's
was
like 513 feet.
Yeah, and he's one of those players too. Unfortunately, that I think will probably be on a different team because
At some point.
Same thing with Paul Skeens with the big market, and
Yeah.
I did see a funny thing though where Paul Skeens pitched right, and people are making
my
fun of
God.
him
Yeah, I know
that
what
he
you're about to
still
say.
can't even get a win because he lost in the All-Star game.
He got a no contest because they ended up coming back and tying it after he came out of the. But the other thing that came out is that in one inning of Paul Skeens pitching, he got more run support than his last 3 starts with the Pirates, and I think they only got like 2 or 3 runs in the first inning. That's sad. That's really sad. And it's like you said, same with O'Neal Cruz. Paul Skeens is probably going to be on a different team here within the next few years, I would imagine.
No way. They're not trading him. No way.
But anyway, as a whole, I think the tribute to like Hank Aaron and some of the stuff that they did, it was pretty cool. I'm sure it was even cooler if you were there in the stadium.
Also, in the All-Star game, we got our very first swing off.
Yeah.
I think I love that. I think it looked like it was going to be kind of like one of those All-Star games where it's one-sided. It ends like 10-0 or like 10-2. It
was for a little bit, yeah.
It was. And then the AL ended up tying at 6-6 in the ninth. And we get our very first home run derby swing off.
And no one knew it was coming too. Like they announced it on air as it was happening. And that did add some. It like added like, oh, I'm watching this, and then it got to the end and it was like, oh, it kind of brought the excitement back up for it. And it's funny too because I mentioned who would be fun to see someone go hit home runs when they were still listing out like the players and trying to figure out. I said Schwarber because that's what he does, and he goes 3 for 3, wins it for the NL. That was pretty funny. But no, All-Star game is what it is. I think it's one of the best All-Star games when it comes to professional sports.
So because did you see all of the stuff coming out about the players and like there were a lot of players that sat out this weekend. And it's kind of turned into because I don't know if all the other ones, I know NHL does it where every single team gets an All-Star. So it's not really an All-Star game anymore. And you're not getting to see the best players. Like for instance, I think probably the Padres and Dodgers and Tigers, Royals probably deserved like 4 or 5 All-Stars each.
Cubs too.
Yeah, the Cubs, exactly. And there were a few players on the Cubs like Suzuki and Michael Busch that didn't make it because, we have to have a Colorado Rocky and a Chicago White Sox. So it's like, do you think they should switch that in the future? I think they should because it's like, it's turning into a...
I mean, my opinion on participation awards.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Like and the same thing, I know the Phillies, a lot of the Phillies players and fans were mad because some of their pitchers didn't get in.
They had like 3 or 4 starting pitchers.
That rookie from Milwaukee got in and they were like, what are we doing? Now I will say it was pretty cool. I don't like saying nice things about the Phillies. Yeah, I don't like saying nice things about the Phillies, but it was pretty cool that their management and their ownership paid the bonus to, I think, Suarez, I want to say, their pitcher, who should have made it, and they paid him his bonus as if he did. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's good.
And that was cool on the ownership and on the, to reward him for that.
It should have been if it had any other format.
Speaking of contracts, though, you kind of mentioned it. It's been, I think, a little bit under the radar.
Well, the NFL draft was how long ago? I mean, that was the end of April. It's been like 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months since then. And only 2 second-round picks are signed. It's crazy. So,
the craziest one though is the whole Bengals. The whole Bengals ordeal.
Pick, yeah.
Their first, I know the second round. That's a great point. But the first round pick for the Bengals, not showing up, not signing because you don't want all this. My question to you is the NIL and the college football kind of seeping into the NFL with kind of what college football is when it comes to all the money. And I say yes, because it's, these entitled, I don't want to say kids, but these entitled players.
Everyone's an adolescent until they hit 25.
Thinking that they deserve more than they deserve. And I understand, it went against every other contract in why was his different? So I hear that side of it. But at the same time though, be an adult about it, be a grown-up about it, and don't just sit here and I think whine to the media, make it this whole big deal. You're secretly going back to your college campus to train, and then now you're saying you're going to go back. And and I know Jack said this in his video, so I don't want to spoil anything he said, but if he does go back to college and then re-enters the NFL draft, who the hell is going to pick him?
Well, it all depends on production.
You can't. He's already owned by Cincinnati.
No, he's not.
No, you can.
Hasn't signed his contract.
Anything.
You can go back.
He can technically go back, but my question is, if he goes back, has another decent year, goes to the draft again, who's picking him? Who's going to pick him?
Well, what happens if he leads the college
You're right,
football
and that would change. That's a good point. But say he has an average year, maybe gets hurt. Has
another 2 sacks.
I mean, who's going to pick him?
Oh, he's damn near. I mean, he's for sure not going in the first round anymore. No. That's for sure. And so, I mean, it brings up an interesting point, but I think more so the second round stuff that happened is more on college football and NIL, because I think that is just the Bengals. Because the whole thing with Shamar Stewart is he is just asking for the exact same contract that they gave to their first round pick last year, and they have in the past. Yeah. And so that I don't have any problem with it.
No.
He should be due that. I mean, you took him 16th overall, so clearly you think there's a first round talent there. But The second round stuff. The first 2 players taken in the second round. Jaden Higgins for the Texans, who was an Iowa State wide receiver. I think Iowa State. Yes. And then UCLA linebacker Carson Schwessinger for the Browns. Both got fully guaranteed contracts. First time that any second round picks have gotten fully guaranteed. And now guess what happened afterwards? All 30 of the other players are wanting that in the second round.
Well, why not?
No one. Exactly. They opened the floodgates, and guess what, Chris? Still 30 unsigned. Seemingly there's nowhere, like no movement anywhere. There's no budget. This is
what happens when you pay college athletes millions of dollars.
Well, do you put
the blame on... when they go to the NFL and there's no more money than what they made in college?
Now, I will say, though...
You could blame the Texans and the Browns.
You can blame the organizations for doing that and causing this ripple effect.
The Browns have already done it once before.
The same way you talked about last week with the whole quarterback with Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson, how that was a ripple effect to what we see with huge quarterback deals now.
Yeah.
So I think it's maybe a 50-50 split of you do have the entitlement of college players coming out and expecting this.
Yeah, like I got paid more in college.
Yes. So you have that side of it, and then you also have the side of these owners going, doing this type of stuff.
Well, the Browns have already done it once before. I mean, they gave Deshaun the whole reason that we had that whole quarterback discussion is because the Browns gave Deshaun Watson $260 fully guaranteed.
Opened up the can.
Yeah. And then Russell Wilson turned back the clock and was like, you know what? I don't care about the rest of my my peers. But I think it's crazy. And like training camp is starting. Training camp teams start next week. And then everyone's in action. Some of your best players that are going to be starting for you aren't going to be taking the field. It's going to be something that we pay attention to moving forward.
It is to see which teams cave in and give guaranteed. And
I hope the Bears do. This affects the Bears. Luther Burden still unsigned because of this.
Oh yeah,
and I think our tackle too. We took a tackle in the second round late, still unsigned. Yeah. So it's affecting everybody.
Yeah,
I never thought I would see this. It makes sense that it would happen eventually.
Will be interesting to keep an eye out on who does and who doesn't.
Oh yeah.
To go though. Last little bit before we get into 4th and long, the quarterback season 2. We talked about it last week. Yeah. I finished it. You finished it. Chris is
in the middle of it.
4 episodes.
It's got 3 episodes left.
Look, I thought it was great.
That's awesome.
My one thing that I'm going to talk about because I said this to you. Mm-hmm. I think I said this to you as well. The whole Kirk Cousins thing. He was like spreading little crumb and droplets of what he saw wrong in the organization when it came to, we have 50 different motions before a play. And in my football brain, I'm going,
that's a lot.
That's a lot for one. And then I'm also saying, you guys are messing this up. Why are you get the play down first? Know how to do the play. Because if you can't do that, then
all
can't
of
do
the
anything.
Adjustments and the hot routes and all that don't matter.
It doesn't. If you can't get the base play down, the motions, the calls, the signal, whatever you want to call it, isn't going to work. So get the play down first. And it seems like they were just trying to rush everything with a new quarterback, with a new offensive coordinator, with a new head coach, new everything. So, and you kind of saw that sprinkled throughout of him kind of saying it and trying to not be the bearer of bad news, but be like, hey, maybe we push back a little bit, maybe we not do it as much, and let's get comfortable with it, and then, add on to it.
And so what they didn't show, what I'm curious about that whole thing is why didn't Michael Penix struggle with the same things? So did they dumb it down later in the season, or is Kirk just showing his, his age? And it's like, did Michael Penix have no problem at all?
I did think about that, to where I was like, that's a great argument. And then, but why didn't Michael Penix have? Yeah. Now maybe he had more time throughout the season to do instead of having to play
Soak
right
it all in, be a sponge.
So there's a lot of different ways you can go about it.
You got to see Kirk make mistakes
also,
as well.
Guys, it's also all Penix knows. Kirk has been in all these different systems.
True. Yeah.
And it was hard for him maybe to make that adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also will say the whole injury thing, it went into with the Saints game and him dealing with his. So me as an athlete,
his ankle, his shoulder,
I see where he's coming from to where he said it in the show. He said, I can't remember who he got it from. Was it Drew Brees?
Drew Brees'
never let the backup see the field. Yep. No matter who he is, no matter what round pick, no matter what, do never let your backup see the field because you never know. We've seen it 1,000 times with Brady. We can go down the list
Edelman and Wes
of
Welker.
Players who came in because someone got hurt and they ended up being great, took their job. And so to me, Kirk Cousins doing that, I don't blame him as an athlete of saying, if I'm, everyone's hurt. Everyone's dealing with something. But if I'm out on the practice field going through all the reps, going through everything, I'm not hurt. Like, I can make it. I'm going to push through it. I'm going to try my best. This is why they paid me, for my teammates. So I see that side of it. But at the same time, though, I also see you were telling the NFL and the Falcons one thing, and then you're going and filming this show saying another thing, that I'm hurt, my elbow's hurt, my ankle's not fully there, my Achilles is fine, but my ankle's not, but my elbow hurt, my shoulder, like everything hurts. But I'm not going to tell the NFL or the Falcons that because I'm terrified to lose my job, because I know if Penix gets in, does what we ended up doing, he's going to take my job.
Yeah.
So I see it. I see it on all sides of it, but I also am like, you did
it to yourself.
You lied in a way. You lied to the main media, your team, and then you were like saying the truth, filming this show.
Well, how many? Yeah, exactly. And they record those after the season, like the little sit down where they're the blue backdrop. That's all done in like 2 or 3 segments after the season ends. And so no shot in hell that anyone in that building knew that he was dealing with the type of stuff he was dealing with. And it's
fine. Like I heard, everyone deals with something. No one's 100%. If you're out on the practice field, and you go through all the reps, he felt like, no, I wasn't hurt. I did everything I was supposed to do. So why am I going to put myself on the injury report? I hear all that, but it's just a little gray area to where your team was in such a good spot to win that division and go to the playoffs.
They were 6-3.
They had like a 4-game lead at one point in that division, and they ended up blowing it, arguably because of the quarterback play.
They swept the Bucs and still lost the division by 1 game. That's crazy.
It's not crazy though. This is what the Falcons do.
That's they have been known to do that.
But the whole show as a whole, I thought it was great. Jared Goff.
Jared Goff is awesome.
Dan
Campbell's awesome.
The way their season ended was a little disappointed, and it goes, it really went into depth. I don't want to describe the show, but
just injuries.
And like feeling on top of the world, having the best season you've had, and then all of a sudden you're knocked out in the first round by a rookie quarterback on a team that no one thought was going to be there.
Nope.
But Jared Goff, I think, became way more likable with being more relatable. His wife was really funny. She's totally an airhead, football wife,
Dude.
to where I don't think she had any clue what was very happy. Half the time. She's just happy.
She's just happy the cameras are
around. I said it to Dad. I said
she's
she's lucky she married an NFL quarterback.
She's very lucky.
No, all jokes aside, I think Jared Goff was awesome. Who was the other one?
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's another great one, to where I looked at him and how you said how he's so private. He's
such a kid
to himself, a kid, doesn't have like a girlfriend, doesn't have any responsibilities, just has this huge mansion, buying Batmobiles. No, I really, really, if I was a Bengals fan, I would have a Joe Burrow jersey in every color possible.
That's what I want.
That guy's awesome.
Next quarterback season 3, whenever it happens, I need Caleb Williams.
Oh fuck! Of course you do.
We talked about it. I think
Bears.
I think Jaden
do
Daniels
the 3
would be
rookie
great.
quarterbacks next year. Do Jaden, Caleb, and Drake May.
I think Drake May would be cool just because of their new coach.
All of them. It'd be awesome.
Even I'd love to see a Josh Allen.
I would love to see
Lamar. Justin Fields, I think would be cool.
Awesome
just
too.
Everything that he's gone through.
He's
all the
done it once
teams.
before. He did was it QB1?
That was in high school.
On Netflix.
That was in high school. Yeah.
So he's been on something like that too. You know, you'd get good content from him.
Yeah, there's a lot of great options, and I'm sure they probably already know what they're going to be doing.
They've got
for
their
the next year, whether that's quarterbacks or receivers.
I want a running back.
Running back.
I want running back.
Yeah.
I think that would be sick. It's maybe like a James Cook. I mean, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, all of these. It'd be so cool.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, any
tight end
players that you might see, hit us up in the comments.
Cornerback.
Some good ones.
Safety.
Yeah, that whether that's on your team or just a player that you would like to hear more about.
Dude, I would love to see one for like any position. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best shows out right now.
Well, that will now lead into our fourth and long.
But
before we start fourth and long, don't forget, subscribe, drop a comment. We had some great comments on our
had a good video go
week.
viral last week.
A little bit. So that was awesome to hear. We can go a little bit in depth in that of what our true opinion on that clip was, and it kind of got misinterpreted a little bit. That's fine. But yes, 4th and long. But before, our special guest, like we said, our Steelers fan, Mr. Flynn Mchugh, is going to be joining us at the
Go ahead and do your thing.
Our guest, Flynn Mchugh, joining us for 4th and long this week. Flynn,
and the AFC Division Breakdown.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Thank you again for joining.
Of course.
4th and long, though. Before we get into our AFC North breakdown, Chris, what do you have for us?
Oh, here we go. On a 4th and goal. 4th down and 20. 4th and 21. Not the way you want to try to extend it.
What do you got for us today?
All right, I've got some good stuff for you this week. Let's talk about something we haven't talked about in a little bit.
Caitlin Clark.
So last week, no Caitlin Clark. Superman came out last week, and as you guys know, we were there opening night.
Spoiler free, hopefully.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about Superman? How do you feel about DCU? Are we punting? Are we going for it?
I thought it was good. I thought it wasn't, James Gunn helped a lot. It was definitely a typical James Gunn movie. Mm-hmm. I thought Superman, I saw some people talking about this, and then as I remembered, I was like, yeah, it was kind of like Superman got the shit beat out of him the whole movie.
There was a reason for that. It's spoiler free. There was a reason.
There was, but it's like you're like Superman. You're supposed to beat it, and it just felt like he was getting the shit beat out of him the whole movie until kind of the last little bit. So that was my one, I'd say maybe little negative. Yeah. I also thought it was not choppy. I think it was just the way the movie was made to be, to where it was like really fast on. Like it cut from this scene to this scene to this scene to this scene. And throughout the movie, I was like, okay, that has to be the theme they were going for. It wasn't just like this one looked like that.
It's like a comic book. It's like flipping pages from like the next one plot point to the next instantly.
So I thought for me, it checked all the boxes of a cool superhero trying to restart, James Gunn taking over all this. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it.
They did a good job with all of the other characters as well, like keeping them important but not stealing the limelight. And I thought Mr. Terrific, probably my favorite character in the whole movie, dude. His actor's incredible, but the whole character.
And I wasn't expecting to like him as much as I did, awesome. Or even be in the movie. To be quite frank with you, and he ended up being a really cool character for
what's it called? Guy Gardner too, Green Lantern. Great. I loved it.
Yeah, the haircut was, and people made fun of the haircut, but that's like the haircut he had in all the comics.
Yeah.
Like he had some stupid bowl cut type-ish hair. So that was pretty cool. But no, I think as a whole, it was great. I don't know if you've seen it.
I was going to say, I wish I could comment, but I haven't seen it yet. So.
You should.
I definitely recommend
it. It's a DCU. He doesn't go to DC movies.
No, I've heard good things. I do prefer Marvel, but I've heard good things about it. I'll check it out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, DC hasn't given us much to worry about, really. I mean, the whole Snyder cut and all that was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
It was good. I really liked it.
I enjoyed it. And with movies nowadays, go into it with your own opinion. Don't listen to everyone else or what they're saying. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was a fun.
It's really hard to find a good movie these days in theaters. I feel like I'm disappointed most of the time.
It is.
So
unfortunately. I mean, it's true.
Like
and next week, we'll have one more episode before, but next week, Fantastic Four does come out. So we will be
Adam
going
Sandler
into that.
comes out another week, too.
The Happy Gilmore 2 comes out the same day, I believe, too.
That was good planning.
So, yeah, great planning.
All right, here we go. Okay, next question here. Teddy Bridgewater in the news. You know that he won the state championship in high school. He has been suspended because it was found out that he was paying for physical therapy for some of his players that couldn't afford it. He was buying the team meals before games.
Uber rides,
and he was doing some Uber rides to make sure kids made it to practice. What the heck?
They're suspending him for seemingly being the reason you win a state championship.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You win a state championship.
Thanks, Teddy. You're suspended.
This is a bunch of, I don't know why. I haven't read too much into it. I know what you're talking about. But it is pretty unfortunate that you have a guy using all the money that he accumulated in the NFL to inspire the next generation of football players, NFL players, to buying Uber rides to get to practice, to get to school, feeding them before game. Like, what are you doing wrong?
I don't know. What do you think, dude? You saw all this, right?
Yeah, I did see it. I mean, I don't see a
crazy.
problem with it. I think you're helping out kids. Like you said, getting to practice. Not everyone has the means that everyone else does. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. It's not like he was buying them steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally just like the bare minimum to make sure you have a functioning football team.
right. I mean, was it a bad area with kids that really didn't have that much?
I think it is. I think it's an area that where there's some of these kids needed it. They don't have the means.
Yeah. Even
And hey,
more
Dawson,
reason.
when you were played football, remember? I mean, I don't know about college, but in high school, we literally had to, like, all the parents had to pay for all those meals.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Just because your head coach is doing it when he was an NFL player,
There's some jealousy. I think there's some
Yeah.
jealousy
So,
going on.
did it come out why it was such a problem? Like, did the school make an issue out of it, or was it the high school,
The
like,
school
schools
was
are surrounding them?
The school got fined $30,000.
So it was the organization, like, wherever that school was,
the
it was the
board or
community
whatever.
that got
The community
pissed off.
problem.
The
So the
other high
president-
The other
schools
schools
were
were
like,
jealous that someone
they
gave
had
them
to.
an edge, I guess, and that was the whole
I think
reason.
that's exactly what happened. Okay.
That's so
definitely
stupid.
what happened.
Yeah.
so stupid.
Okay, here we go. So we just mentioned Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. So they came out with an actual
week?
hockey stick putter. A
Yeah.
44-inch hockey stick putter. Odyssey's made it. It's about $500 or so.
It's got the hockey sock on it,
Yeah.
too. This-
So are we? So I want to know: are you guys going to buy one of those sticks? Are we?
I'll
Are we
find-
punting? Or are we going for it?
I'll find it at a Goodwill in, like, 6 years.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I found my iron set.
Split
or
it.
Dawson found my iron set.
I think it's cool. I think it's way overpriced.
really cool.
I think it's a great concept though, great marketing. I thought the golf balls were really cool too. On the thing on it, it says like just tap it in, like when he's so I thought that was pretty. The golf balls. I don't have a problem with it for people who like collecting, for people who spend their money on. I mean, I think we can go around the room and make fun of all of us for what we spend our extra
Purchase
money
that
on.
we've made
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Whether that's why we like to collect or something
Right,
where it's just
absolutely.
like, I would never spend money on that. But someone would say that about the stuff you spend your money on.
I have like 7 jerseys of players that don't
Yeah,
play
so
for the Steelers anymore.
like to
George Pickens.
so to me, I look at it and go, if that's how you choose to spend your money because you're a huge golf fan and you love Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
by all means, do you?
Legos.
Yeah, well,
Legos.
Hey, brother.
Legos, yeah.
I had a bad year. I have a Mika, Najee, and a Pickens jersey, and I have a Watt jersey, and who knows what's going to happen
okay.
with that.
I wouldn't buy
I've got
another jersey
Justin-
for a hot second.
I've got Justin Fields and Khalil Mack sitting in my closet that never get any use.
See, I haven't bought a Patriots jersey in probably
Long time.
I think
Smart.
since Brady left.
Incoming Drake.
Actually,
Majors.
take that back. Vanny knows this story. Remember the year we made it to the playoffs and we played Buffalo?
He has a Mac Jones jersey.
We both when Brady or not when Mac Jones and they played Buffalo in the snow in the playoffs that year. Me and Vanny were still in college, sitting in our college apartment, and we both ordered Mac Jones jerseys to watch that game.
You did
It's
not.
not.
I swear we
It's
did.
not as
It's
bad as-
actually sitting over there in the drawer.
Didn't Chris once say Tua would be better than Dan Marino?
Oh man,
I have
probably.
no idea.
Did I
believe it.
actually say that?
I have no
I think I
idea.
saw that somewhere.
I
no
believe
clue.
it. I would not put it past.
But to wrap up that, I think if that's cool to you and you enjoy golf and you view it as like a collector's item,
Yeah.
there are other putters that cost $500, so I
Yeah.
can't say it's out of the realm of like that technology.
but a putter that you're like really gonna use or just like have to collect.
Yeah,
I guess
I-
that's the argument.
if I found it at a Goodwill and it was like
Hell
$30,
yeah.
I'm using it.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm buying it like
Hell yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Buying
Okay, I
it.
got one more for you. So a lot going on in Atlanta this week,
Yeah.
obviously. So SEC week is here as well.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I don't know if you heard the
Was-
SEC
yeah.
football commissioner came out, had a little talk, and he basically said, I will take any schedule outside of the SEC. I don't care. Nobody compares to what we do.
That's true.
8 games, 9 games. We all beat the crap out of each other. I don't care. We're better than everyone else. And a lot of people were like, wow, okay, throwing it down. So I'd like to know, do you guys want to punt that or you want to go for it? Is the SEC
All I'm
that
saying
dominant now
is-
after they haven't won in a while?
I was gonna say, all I'm saying is like Big Ten teams have won the Natty for like the last 2 years now. So
I agree with you.
Big Ten's the only one that can hold a candle to them, but they're not alone.
I don't think you can argue though that from top to bottom, the SEC is a million times better from top to bottom from the Big Ten or any other Power 5 conference.
I agree with that.
Any other one, but Big Ten, you've got teams, but not.
You have a few great teams, but it's like Dawson just said, if you look down the whole 10 or whatever, it's really not that close if you look at all the teams.
And I'm not saying the top of the Big Ten can compete with any of the SEC. 1,000%. We've seen that. The top to bottom of the SEC and the schedule of them all having to play each other compared to
it's true.
Ohio State gets to go play, Northwestern.
Right.
Like,
yeah, because you've got Northwestern. Nebraska's not great. Purdue's not great. Rutgers.
There's just a lot of very, very mediocre teams.
It's true.
But don't mishear me. The top of the Big Ten, we've seen it. They've won the Natty the past couple years. They can play with any of those.
There's a bigger drop off in the Big Ten between talented teams than there is in the SEC.
So, Dawson, I just have to say, though, so remember when you were in college, you played in the toughest conference, right? You guys had more teams than any conference that would go to national championships every year. Mm-hmm. And you guys all had to play each other and beat the crap out of each other during the season. And then these other teams would come in. They wouldn't play your conference because even the worst in your conference could beat them.
Yeah, like the 4th seed in our conference would beat the other 3 conference champions. Yes. It's just crazy. We had all the best teams and only one could be the champion.
It was like the SEC.
It was. I mean, I wouldn't compare it to the SEC. Anymore, I would just say that I think it happens all the time. And for anyone who's played at the lower levels of college, D2, D3, whatever it is, you're always going to have those couple teams where it's like, God, if only we were in that conference, we would have won by 10 goals, but we've got to play these 2 teams who... So,
well, how do you think the NFC North feels in football? Or the AFC?
You could
I was just going to compare it to NFL.
It's a great
same
comparison.
with the NFC South. One of them literally gets a free ticket to the playoffs.
Exactly.
And it's the Bucs or the Falcons.
Someone's got to win the division.
And the Bucs just don't choke like the Falcons do every year in some aspect.
Exactly.
That's another great comparison to where it feels...
And even like the Chiefs in the AFC West. In the last couple of years... They really haven't had a challenge in winning that division. The Chiefs have been absolutely dominant with all other teams. So I don't know if that's a great argument.
How about the Patriots though? All those years, the Patriots
in the AFC. Oh yeah, it was a free ticket, and now it's the Bills.
Yeah,
the Bills will win the division for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
It's better when all 4 teams.
We've had this conversation though. I don't think it's ever going to change.
It won't.
But it is unfortunate when you have teams, or even like last year, what we saw with the Vikings and the Lions.
Yeah,
both having 14 wins. One of them is what, the 6th seed? They're the highest seed, and one. It was either 1 seed or the 5 seed. Yeah. So
how about last year when the Ravens, Bengals, and the Steelers all got a playoff spot?
Or 2 years ago, yeah.
And then 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. So, and you're going to see that, I think, the divisions, because I know we're going through them, but your division 100% could be like that, especially if the Bengals don't kind of throw away their season at the beginning of the year like they did last year. You've got, I mean, the Rams division could end up being like that with the 49ers, with the Rams.
There are a lot.
Even the West, even the Broncos should be pretty good this year.
Oh my God, yeah. The Chargers.
I don't think the Raiders will be good, but they'll be better. They'll definitely be much better.
Watchable at least.
And I think Herbert, I'm a big Herbert guy. I think he's a top 10 quarterback for sure. I mean, I think they'll...
My issue with the Chargers, though, is their defense. But I know we talked about that with the AFC West.
Which is crazy because their defense started on fire last year.
Anyway,
they were the best defense in football.
Good, Chris.
Yeah, good 4th and long.
All right.
Always creates some good,
thank you for Flynn,
conversations.
stepping in and chiming in. Now, AFC breakdown. We are going to start with the Browns. We're going to end with the Steelers because we have a feeling that once the Steelers come around, that's going to lead all the conversation.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So we will end with the Steelers, but first, the Browns. I am going to hold true to my argument I've had with every single team. I don't know what the hell they're doing at quarterback.
They have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, by the way.
We saw that in the draft.
Drafted 2 back-to-back.
Drafted 2.
You're stuck with Deshaun Watson, haven't been able to trade him, haven't been able to deal with that. You draft Gabriel, and then you draft Sanders. They have no clue what they're... And you have Joe Flacco on the team. They have no clue what they're doing.
I would take Joe Flacco.
Kenny Pickett, too.
Kenny Pickett.
So to me, I don't care who they signed. I don't care. Myles Garrett, you should have left. You should have never re-signed with them.
I honestly, I have respect for my whole division. I might hate the Ravens, but I'm not delusional. They're an amazing football team. Lamar's probably the most talented football in the league. But the Browns continue to just make these, I don't want to use a bad word here, but just horrible decisions every year. And they wonder why the same result happens every time. And they run their mouths more than anybody else in the division. They've done nothing ever nothing.
Well, I mean, just looking at their schedule, I
don't think they've even made it to a Super Bowl.
On top of that, Junkins now getting arrested. Their running back, and then
that fits perfectly with the Browns.
Exactly. So you just can't make it up, with this type of stuff.
You look at their draft. It's just like we talked about this when the draft actually happened. Like they drafted in pairs. Like they took 2 quarterbacks, they took 2 running backs, they took a tight end that they didn't need because they just signed David Njoku. Yeah. I mean, I love Harold Fannin. We talked about him a little bit, the Bowling Green tight end. Great pick, but it's like you had holes on the roster. You decided to draft backups.
What'd you think about them switching picks and letting the Giants go up that high to grab what didn't they switch for
they grabbed Dart.
Dart, yeah.
If you needed a quarterback, I didn't know why you don't take it.
Why didn't you take Dart yourself?
I don't know. I think that's going to be, and I have said too, I wouldn't be surprised if Dart ends up being one of the best quarterbacks out the draft.
Yeah. I'm high on
my dad. My dad's a big Dart guy too.
Yeah. I'm high on Dart. I think he's going to be pretty good. I think Dable is a good quarterbacks coach too.
I just think the NFL is messed up to where they expect these rookies to come on the field and play like a starting quarterback. We've watched all these guys, like when I was growing up was prime football, man, but Rodgers sat behind Favre for 2 years.
No, it happened all the time.
Rodgers. Ben sat behind, I forget who it was. I mean, he got hurt, so Ben had to step in early. Tom Brady sat, I mean, he was
Mahomes
sat every great, or not every, but a lot of these great, all these great quarterbacks sat and learned and watched for a year or two and then stepped on the field. And now these days, I just feel like we expect all these guys right off college to just jump on the field and be Peyton Manning.
Well, it doesn't help when you have people that actually do that. Like you get the CJ Strouds and the Jaden Daniels that reinforce that kind of thinking. It's like, see, they do exist.
Yeah. And did Lamar
Lamar stepped in.
But Lamar wasn't as good.
He had a couple, but
he just got smarter, and that's what I appreciate in a quarterback is you got to play smart. And like everyone always talks about Jalen Hurts. Oh, he's not the flashiest. He's not the flashiest guy in the world, but the guy wins football games. You know, he plays smart football. Yeah, he doesn't throw for 400 yards every other week, but
so then keeping the conversation on quarterbacks. Do you think Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur ends up? Because right now I'm looking at their depth chart.
The question is who makes the team?
Well, that's what I'm looking at the depth chart. It's like Deshaun Watson's still on contract, obviously. Joe Flacco's QB1 right now, allegedly. They still have Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And then apparently Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, who you draft. I mean, you took Dylan Gabriel in like the 3rd, right? And then Shedeur in the 5th. Yeah. So it's like those are.
You see that picture of him throwing up that came out yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
And so they didn't have a bad draft. Like I like the Mason Graham pick. Yeah. He's going to have to be great because they gave up Travis Hunter to move back and grab him.
That Deshaun Watson will just haunt
that contract
will haunt them for another 3 years.
It's got them by the balls, and
now with the Myles Garrett, I mean, they literally have no money.
Well, what'd they just pay Myles Garrett?
I mean, $130, I think.
Yeah,
somewhere up.
Just a brand new deal.
I think it was $130. Yeah, 4 years.
And I mean, you look at their schedule. I have like their links added. I mean, they start off against Cincinnati, then Baltimore, then Green Bay, then Detroit, then Minnesota, then the Steelers, then the Dolphins, then they get the Patriots.
They could be 0-8.
Jets, Ravens, Raiders, Niners, Titans, Bears. Where are they winning a game? Yeah, Bills, Steelers. They might go winless again. Like
the real question is how many?
They were like 3-14 or something. I think
they were.
How many of these quarterbacks are going to start a game for them this year?
All of them.
All of them.
Even Deshaun Watson.
At this rate, I mean, you're going to get all of them. You're going to be able to see what you got.
Who would you guys start?
I like Shedeur. I've always been like, I'm glad that Shedeur got humbled.
But this is what I would do. I would start Flacco. For maybe 5-6 games. Yeah. And then you drafted these guys. I think we know what Kenny Pickett is.
Yeah.
To me, keep him as an emergency. Right. You know, if they all get hurt, he at least has been in the NFL for a couple years.
All of them get hurt.
You never know.
I might let one of those rookies get a rip, but I would keep Teddy as like the Mason Rudolph guy or whatever.
Yes.
You know?
But I think Flacco starts 5-6 games.
Yeah.
Probably they maybe win one.
It won't even be his fault that they don't
No, it
even
won't.
win.
And you have to throw in Dylan Gabriel and Sanders
But like I said,
if he's still on the team.
what's so bad about letting these rookies sit and watch all year from a veteran like Flacco?
There's that too.
Exactly.
Hey, I heard that a lot of the teams in the AFC North, they're starting old veteran quarterbacks this season.
Yeah, they sure are. I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah. But so, like, I mean, their floor. I mean, so Vegas has their win total at 5.5.
I think that's too high.
They're tied. Yeah, that I do too. They're
falls under
tied
the
for the
Saints.
lowest with the Saints.
Yeah.
And I think, quite honestly, I think the Saints are probably worse, but the Saints have a worse quarterback situation.
Yeah.
But I think both of these teams are picking 1 and 2 next year.
The Browns just have an ugly schedule right there.
Oh my God.
And with the division they're in, I would say.
I mean, all of us have an ugly schedule every year in the
that's
AFC
true.
North. The Steelers is horrible. We have to go through
You guys are-
We have to go through the NFC North, and we play the Bills on the side.
You guys have a fucking brutal schedule, dude.
Yeah. Next team though, Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens to me now I think are going on 3 years in a row of having the best roster in football.
Outside of the Eagles, I mean,
I would give
these
the
two
Eagles
teams.
the best roster.
But they've been up there with top 3 for the past 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I have been a little bit of a Lamar, not hater, but like, okay, come on now.
Well, you're not a Lamar apologist, or like you're waiting for him to prove that. I mean, yeah, he does it in the regular season, but time and time again, I don't put all the blame on him because last year, like with the whole snow game with the Bills,
Derrick Henry thing.
Yeah.
give Derrick Henry the damn ball more than 16 times. You did what, like 8 times last year? You won all.
Well, when you look at that game too, as soon as they started handing him the ball in the fourth quarter, they literally caught the game back up.
Yeah.
You know, but I hate the Ravens more than anybody. I hate them, but I'm not delusional. The Ravens are a fantastic football team, and I think Lamar Jackson is the most talented football player in the NFL. And
he's up there, top
the
3.
media and everybody, like you were just talking about it a little bit, I think everybody goes to point fingers at Lamar first. And you know, he is the quarterback, he is the leader, he needs to step up. And I think guys like Josh Allen, he just puts the whole team on his back, and it doesn't matter what anyone else on the team does, you know. But every year, all the mistakes that have happened in the postseason, not his fault.
It's been
a lot
like
of the
game
time.
plan.
Like
It's been game plan.
The Andrews drop on the 2-point conversion.
Well, the Zay Flowers
and everyone's
fumble,
like
too.
Lamar, and then the year before in the Chiefs game when they punched the ball out when they're about to tie it or be down by 3 or something.
That was the
with
difference. It
10
ended up
minutes
being.
left, and then they get the ball right back when they're on literally crossing the goal line, and everyone's like Lamar. So, I don't know. I think everyone needs to relax. And
I definitely hear you on that. I think my argument comes from at some point you have to be the superstar quarterback and do what Josh Allen does, like you said.
Yeah.
Put the team on your back
right.
because that's what the great quarterbacks do that we see who win Super Bowls, who win big playoff games. We saw Mahomes do it.
Yeah.
We're still seeing him do it. With how shitty that his O-line has been, all the weapons that he lost last year.
He does get special assistance.
You're not arguing that.
I will stand by that till I don't care. You guys can say whatever you want.
Not arguing that.
We've had to change NFL rules for the past 2 years now.
Not arguing that.
I agree.
But at the same time, though,
Or Josh Allen,
he's
man.
been able to figure it out and get to the big games. And for me, Lamar, it's time for you to do that.
I will say, though, I feel like we see Lamar continuously getting better since he started. Like,
he has.
I think he was a lot more like Justin Fields when he started. I love Justin Fields. I think he's a great guy. He is super athletic, but I just don't know if he'll ever have the mindset to be a true starting quarterback for a football team and a passer. And these past, 2 or 3 years, you've really seen Lamar take a step back and not force the run, but it's always there. It's always there. But now
he only has 2
first,
or 3 rushing touchdowns last year.
That's crazy. I would never have guessed that.
That's
but
his
now
line.
Lamar's first thought is to pass the ball like a quarterback. And you've seen the guy can throw a beautiful football, you know, and now it's reducing. He got hurt. He was getting hurt every year too, right before the postseason. Like I remember as a Steelers, I remember playing a backup quarterback in 2020,
Tyler
21,
Tyler Johnson, something like that.
No, it was
No,
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Huntley. Yeah. We were playing Huntley every year in the playoffs. It was great. But he stayed healthy through the postseason now, and I think that has a lot to do with you gotta chill with the running so much if you want to last the whole season.
Yeah. I mean, the draft that they had too. They drafted Malachi Starks.
Where do they have money, man? They just got Yair Alexander.
They signed him. He took. I mean, they're only paying him like $6 million.
They should beat the Steelers by 30 points every game, and in those games they beat themselves. I mean, Steelers Ravens games.
Well, those AFC North games in general are just always
the game's like 15.
Bloodbath.
The game's like 15 to 12.
Yeah, it's never high scoring for the most part, unless it's Bengals and Ravens.
Yes,
like, those are the only.
The freaking Bengals let the Steelers outscore them last year. Remember that one game? It was like 48 to 45 or something. Yeah, Russ almost threw 500.
I do remember.
That's bad when you let the Steelers put up 500 yards of offense. But
it's like
that should not happen.
You look at their defense; their secondary is going to be one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Nate Wiggins, they've got Kyle Hamilton still, Malachi Starks, Jair Alexander, still got Marlon Humphrey.
That's probably the best secondary.
And their linebacking core is very good as well.
Yeah, they still have Roquan. I mean, Oweh's still there. Trenton Simpson's another good one. Kyle Van Noy, dude. Disgusting. It's like every single player is capable of making a Pro Bowl on that defense.
They have no excuse to not win it.
They don't.
I mean,
they really don't.
It really should have been their year every year the past 2-3 years, but
you look at their schedule, and I know their line is 11.5 wins. Realistically, they could have the best record in the league.
Again, they just have a tough schedule, and you got to remember they're gonna lose a game to the Steelers, even though they shouldn't. They're gonna.
You actually, so you guys play them. I know you play
them week 18,
December 7th, and then you have the week 18 game, and that's a TBD.
That one. I'm gonna go to that one.
You will?
Yeah,
I'm Pittsburgh?
Sure that's gonna be a prime time week 18 in Pittsburgh. For playoff contention, probably.
Okay,
for the Steelers.
So that's a little foreshadowing to what he thinks the Steelers are going to
do. The Steelers will be 9-7, fighting for the 7th seed.
Hey, 9-8. There's an extra game.
We're going to be playing the Ravens' backup quarterback in Week 18 because they'll be the guaranteed number 1 seed.
That's funny.
And then we're going to go crazy and lose by 30 in the wild card. See, I'm not delusional. I promise, I'm not delusional.
So I did, dude. We get the Ravens.
The Tomlin special, baby.
Their regular season, they've got some really cool matchups. So the Ravens, obviously, they open up the season on that Sunday night game at Buffalo.
That'll be a great game.
And then they play Detroit 2 weeks later, and then the week after that, they get Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City.
I mean, they'll lose if
they play Houston. They play the Rams.
That'll be good.
It's gonna be games, dude.
But again, though, this is what I wouldn't say rewarded, but this is what happens when you have the team you have and the matchups and the history that you have playing the Bills and playing the Chiefs and playing all these great teams. So to me, though, you're also going to be very battle tested going into the postseason.
That's why I like a tough schedule. Yes. Obviously, you don't want one that's brutal every single week, but why would you not want to get a look at the teams that you're going to have to play again later on in the year when it actually matters?
Yeah.
Really
I mean,
matters.
it shows you what you can expect, too.
Yeah.
If you're, you might make the playoffs, but you're not going anywhere, the way you handled certain teams.
I think an underrated signing for the Ravens, too, was the DeAndre Hopkins signing. And I think if you can get a little bit out of him,
well, that's
a reliable red zone threat.
That's one place I think they're pretty weak. The Ravens receivers,
If they can stay healthy, because Zay Flowers was hurt for their playoff run last year. That really hurt them.
Zay's good, but he's not like a top 10 receiver.
No, I agree. No. But you've got a lot of guys that can be
Aguilar,
a lot of wide receiver twos.
Aguilar's butterfingers.
Yeah, they did have Aguilar.
Drops 2 balls a game.
Who's
Aguilar has cost the Ravens 3 Steelers games when they play us. Literally.
No, Zay Flowers. I like Bateman. Bateman's pretty good. He's good. Again, they've got wide receiver twos.
They just don't have that alpha.
That's why you need it. I think Hopkins can be at least the fill-in guy. You still need. Don't get me wrong, you're going to need to go and get an alpha wide receiver.
Tight ends are great too.
But you've got, Mark Andrews is
Isaiah
getting older, but Likely I love.
Yeah, Likely's been
Likely's
really
a dog,
good.
dude. We'll talk about y'all's tight ends too, because you got a fucking.
we have a couple.
But you do. And so, Ravens 11.5 wins. Realistically, they're getting 12 or 13.
I think so too.
I think so.
Next team, Bengals. Like we mentioned, we do have some clips that we will roll into the show of our Bengals fans before we take our opinions on it.
What's going on, guys? Dawson and Dylan are nice enough to have me on the podcast this week to give you some of my expectations for the Bengals as they cover the AFC North. And honestly, my expectations are pretty high. We have a healthy Joe Burrow. We have a happy wide receiver room. And I like Dylan Fairchild to be the guy to come in and give Burrow some extra pocket protection, which is something the Bengals have historically struggled to do. I fully expect Trey Hendrickson will be back on the team before the season starts. You know, he keeps showing up for the team. He keeps showing up for the city. And there's been such a front office culture shift with Joe Burrow basically commanding that T and Mike and Jamar all get re-signed. I think there's no way the Bengals don't go out and get it done for somebody who got 35 sacks in the last 2 years. Like, it's undeniable. Talking about signings, though, I have no expectations for Shamar Stewart. You know, he's not signing his agreement, his rookie deal, because there's a clause in there that voids his future guarantees if he gets injured. So he's ditching the mini camps, he's ditching the OTAs, he's blowing off the Bengals entirely to go work out with the Aggies, as it turns out. And he's even talking about going back to college. Well, if he goes back to college and gets injured, then what? Or if he goes back to college, doesn't get injured, and tries to re-enter the draft, I don't think any teams take him, because what kind of precedent does that set that any team could draft a rookie, the rookie could not like the terms, and then just go back to college and re-enter the draft the next year? So overall, expectations are pretty high. I think we have a huge ceiling. I'll predict Jamar Chase back-to-back Triple Crown winner. You know, who dey?
Yeah, as you kind of just heard, I think when you look at the start of the season they had last year and how disappointing it was for the team that you had, all the talent that you have, and you saw that too as the year went on to where they started to play like everyone knew they would with Burrow, with Chase, you know, with all of the talent that they've accumulated. Yeah. Their defense, though, was terrible.
Horrendous.
Yeah, absolutely horrendous. I mean, like you said, they let the Steelers almost put up 500 yards on them.
Almost 50 points from the Steelers. The last time we scored, I looked it up at the time. I don't want to say wrong.
Last time y'all put up over 40.
I don't want to say wrong information, but the last time we scored that many points was like 8 or 9 years ago.
It might have been the playoff game against the Jaguars. Where you guys...
We lost that game.
Yeah, you did, but you guys, I think it was like
45 to 42.
40, yeah. Something crazy like that.
I remember it. I remember it. That was AFC Championship in like 16, I think. 16 or 17.
Divisional round.
Yeah. No, I think
it was because they ended up playing the Patriots.
The Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
They should have won.
In the AFC Championship game.
Well, that's how we start all our playoff games. Down 14 or 21, points. And then climb the ladder that we can't get back up.
But the Bengals, though, I think it is, you know, I know they've had a lot of drama with their rookie and with, you know, what they're doing with Trey Hendrickson.
They fired their defensive coordinator from last year,
Got a new defensive coordinator.
Hired the guy from Notre Dame. I don't remember his name, but yeah.
Okay, but the expectations for me of what the Bengals should be, the Bengals should, in my opinion, be a playoff team every year with the quarterback you have.
Yeah, they are blessed to have an amazing quarterback. And there's only, in my opinion, like 5 elite quarterbacks. Like when we were all growing up, I feel like every team had an elite quarterback, and now there's 5 or 6 elite quarterbacks in the league, and they have one, and it's just really sad that his team, Joe's team, sells him every game. I mean,
he deserves so much better,
and he does, and he takes accountability. He never outs his teammates. He's a good dude. And again, that's another division rival, but I respect them. You know,
he's great. No, I think they feel very fortunate that they get to open up the season at Cleveland. Finally, we get to start off.
Watch them lose that game.
It's like they lost the Patriots
last year, where there's no way we should have won that game. And then that game ended up being the reason they didn't get in the playoffs, and that game also ended up being the reason we didn't get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
And then the year before the Patriots, they played the Steelers with Mitch Trubisky.
That's right.
And they lost in like at the end of overtime on like a field goal at the buzzer from Boswell. That was a crazy game. Yeah. Both teams missed like a field goal in overtime.
McPherson doinked it. I remember
their holder was hurt, so they had a backup holder. It wasn't holding it. I don't know.
So the Bengals, you know.
I think it all depends on how they start the season.
Yes, they need to start off hot.
If it were me saying right now, I mean, I think they should be a 10-11 win team. Just because I would put them higher, but their defense is still going to sell them a couple. Yeah. And you just put every dollar you have, not every dollar, but most of it into your offense.
Into your offense.
You're paying T and Jamar that much money, and
they just gave them new deals.
And there are rumors that they are finally in contract talks with Hendrickson to get him signed. Which I think.
How much is he going to want?
I mean, he's going to want upwards probably 100.
He just came off back-to-back years leading the league in sacks. Yeah. And so it's like
17 plus.
17 2 years in a row. Yeah. I think he had 18 last year. So, I mean,
he guy's a stud.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. And, you know, I said, too, when the whole thing was, who should they sign? Who should they do this?
Yeah.
I said they should have signed Jamar because there's no way you let that guy walk.
No way.
I thought you let T. Higgins walk and you sign Hendrickson and then you build in the draft.
I really
you should have traded T,
I agree.
signed Hendrickson, and then just found some other receiver in the draft.
Right. Not
or
because T isn't a dog, but it's just you just have to be smart with your money sometimes. And that's my problem. I'll relate it to the Steelers real quick is we put every dollar we have into the defense and they're doing the opposite. They're putting every dollar they have into the offense, and you have to have some type of balance. I was looking at a chart of all the teams, like where their money goes, and all the teams at the top, it's like the Chiefs, Bills, like all the great teams, like 60 to 70% of their money is in the offense and 30-ish is in the defense.
You get a good defensive coordinator and some guys that can fly around the ball.
Right. I think the Bengals were at like 80-something% on offense.
The Dolphins are probably up there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and the Steelers were like 80, like high 70s in defense.
That's crazy.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals made some good draft picks too, and so like they
filled some
needs. Yeah, if they can get them signed, but like the Shamar Stewart, it's a good pick if you can get him signed. But I really like the South Carolina linebacker they took, Demetrius Knight Jr. I mean, any SEC talent, and they went back into double dipped in the SEC talent pool and went and got the Georgia guard, Dylan Fairchild, and then another one, Clemson linebacker Barrett Carter. So it's like, I think they're learning. They're learning that build defense through the draft, invest in your key weapons, and hopefully you've got good play callers.
One kind of hidden gem they did find, though, was Chase Brown.
Yes.
Chase Brown was a monster last, especially at the end of the season before he got
It's going to be more of the same,
Broncos
too.
game, I think. But, man, we all play fantasy. I remember seeing that guy going off for like 5 weeks.
I lost to him like 2 weeks in a row.
Catching passes, being able to run the ball, just a full,
He'll be a nice fantasy steal in a late round people forget about too.
My prediction here right now, I think Burrow wins the MVP this year.
He should have won it last year if his team didn't suck as much as...
Well, I wish they would actually base it on who was the best player and not all these other factors.
Burrow, because we watched the quarterback show and I forgot that this happened, but like Burrow finished his year, I think 8 games in a row of 250 plus passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. And that has never happened.
I remember seeing his projections on Prize Picks were like, like I'm taking the under. That's way. And he would freaking go over, dude.
Over every time.
And he would go over every time. I'm seeing like 350 and a half passing yards. I'm like, no way, dude.
Throws for 400.
Broncos have a good defense. He's not going to get it. Nah, they're in overtime with 500 yards each.
So, I mean, like, floor, I think realistically, I can't say that they won't collapse again. So I think like realistically they could have like another 8-9, 9-8 season. They could miss the playoffs in week 18, and this time you finally fire the head coach.
They should be a playoff team.
Done it last year.
They should be a playoff team.
Oh, they should.
I think the floor is eight wins for them. I think is the floor. Ceiling, I think they could. I think if they play good, they could have 12 wins.
100%.
They could. They have way too much talent. I mean, there is a week 13 to 15. They have the Ravens, then the Bills, and then the Ravens again. So that's sucks. Ugly. That's rough. Yeah. But they close out their season playing the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and the Browns.
And they also do better toward the end of the season. Maybe they turn the gas on against the Ravens and the Bills, and they're able to pull a win out.
There's enough winnable games on there to where if you can win, those, you get like 6 or 7.
What's after the Browns? The first 3 weeks.
Oh, so I mean, you get the Browns, and then you get the Jaguars, and then the Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Packers, Steelers, Jets, Bears, bye week, Steelers again, and then Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens, and then you get Dolphins, Cardinals.
Those
Browns.
First 4 games are, they should be highly favored.
If you get 2-2, 3-1, you're in a great spot.
They should start 4-0.
They should start 4-0, 3-1.
But if if they pull a 1-3 or against those teams.
And then you have the back half of your schedule looking like
they
Ravens
might fire their head coach the second they go 0-2 again. Yeah, it's that bad.
But that's just their story. We'll see if it changes.
That's true.
Last team though, like we mentioned, the Steelers. Least. So the first question,
not the least, the Browns are in our division.
Before we get into some of the numbers and some of the sign, what you being a Steelers fan for as long as you've been, watching football for as long as you've been, Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. What is your opinion, and what is the overall Steelers fans' opinion on the whole thing?
So it's interesting. Like, I think after things happen, the delusion starts to set in. Like, but before it actually happens, you have a real opinion before. So I did not want Aaron Rodgers before it happened.
I remember you saying
I did not want him. I I was almost in a weird place where I was okay with letting Mason Rudolph rip it, like, for a second there. But, I mean, after they got rid of Russ, I personally at the time would have re-signed Russ, I think, just because I thought he had a good arm and he made some really nice he made some really nice passes last year and kept us in some games. And I think our defense collapsed at the end of the year, and that was part of our major problem. Derek Henry, he had like 200 yards in that playoff game or something. And, and people want to sit here and blame the Russ fumble, but whatever. But at this point, now that it's done, obviously Aaron Rodgers should start out of what we have. Honestly, I don't know what to expect. I think the Jets are a bad organization too, and I think a lot of people will fail there. That might be good. I mean, even you saw what happened to Le'Veon Bell. He was like arguably the best running back in the league for like 2-3 years, and then goes there and does nothing. I feel bad for Justin Fields. I think they're just going to make him look bad. So maybe the Jets just made Aaron look a lot worse than he actually still is. But if you look at the numbers, I looked at a stat by stat with Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers just on the numbers, and it was not far off.
I brought this up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the back half of the season last year for Aaron Rodgers
like a top 10 quarterback.
was pretty good, regardless of what you think about him.
They were losing those games.
Yeah, they were losing.
But I mean, again, you can't put everything on the quarterback, and he's not Josh Allen. That's going to be able to put a whole team on his back. So
I mean, he doesn't need to either. Right. Like, y'all have a good roster. Like, I'm looking at y'all's depth chart right now. The O-line looks solid.
The O-line's going to be better, but it's just, I mean, we have one solid receiver right now.
I like Calvin Austin. I think so.
He's small. He can't win those. He can't win those.
Rodgers loves his deep threat. Loves it. He's like a 4-2 guy. Could you imagine? Like, I mean, Rodgers just uncorking it. You got DK on the other side.
What I think is the Roman Wilson guy who was hurt last year. I think that they see a lot of potential with him, and they're okay with. He's a good receiver. I mean, we'll see, and we'll see.
So to flip sides on the other side of the ball, what are they gonna? What do you? I know what you want them to do, but what do you think they're gonna do with TJ Watt?
Honestly, he wants $40 million. He wants to be the highest non-paid quarterback.
The guy deserves it.
Do you blame him?
Yeah,
no, he deserves it.
He's an absolute savage, and anyone that sits here and argues this is not biased. I have said that I'm not delusional here. TJ Watt is the best outside linebacker in football, and you can bring up Myles Garrett, you can bring up all these guys. They're great. Show me the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. Yeah. TJ was hurt the 1 year. He slacked off in sacks, but I mean, the guy has been an absolute savage for the past 5 years.
Everything.
He should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Not this past year, the year before that. He's tied the all-time sack record. But at this point, when you're the Steelers, and we obviously need some offensive revamping because we have Aaron for a year, and then it's back to quarterback hell.
Will Howard.
Yeah, and that's true, and I'm glad that he's going to sit and watch Rodgers for a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, like what you brought up earlier.
That's a great quarterback to sit and watch for a year. And Rodgers did the same thing, so he can probably maybe replicate what Favre did for him to some,
100%.
So that might be really, really good for Will Howard.
I think I think the move of signing Aaron Rodgers, I told you this a few weeks ago when we were talking about it in like our DMs. Yeah. This is huge for Will Howard, massive, especially if Aaron Rodgers is going to take him under his wing and give him everything he knows. Perfect.
And Will Howard's another one that I think when this is all said and done, all of a sudden you're looking at him going,
"What the hell?
He's the best quarterback out of this class. Why did he not go?
Right.
We took this guy over him. We took Jalen Milroe over.
I was looking at the 2018 draft, and Lamar went 30th in the first round. And the Steelers draft freaking Terrell Edmonds. It doesn't even play for
Josh Rosen went in that draft, like 10th
Baker
overall.
Mayfield went like 5th or 6th or something. But back to TJ, I think that it breaks my heart to say this, but if you're going to get something for him, it's got to be before it's too late. And this is probably the point where he either finishes his career in Pittsburgh and has another two absolute solid years, for sure 2, maybe 3, but he's going to start slowing down in 4 or 5 more years. So if you want to get something, like I actually kind of like the mock trades with the Commanders. Like,
who would you get in return?
Scary Terry and
you get McLaurin,
like a second for TJ.
I feel like the Steelers would be asking a little bit more because McLaurin's not young. He's like 28.
Well, that's why, and a first or a second.
I think you need maybe 2
firsts for TJ.
Yeah.
I think you would get Terry. I think you get a first, probably like a third, and then maybe like another.
Yeah, you need a player 100%.
You
and
get
then
a defensive
you
player.
just load up. Like, who's another player to where they trade and they just loaded up on picks? Who was that? Was it the Bears? Who did the Bears trade? And they just got all those picks.
I mean,
Wasn't it the
they
Rams
traded the
Lions?
first
Or they traded
overall pick.
Okay, you're right.
But I mean, the Rams,
The Rams Lions one, it was like Stafford for like 20 picks.
a haul.
Which and if you got Stafford for the amount of picks, I mean, I know that's quarterback. Quarterback's maybe a little more important than TJ Watt. I definitely think you could get maybe 2 first-round picks, maybe a second, third, and a player.
So I would hate, it would break my heart, but if it's the right thing to do, I'd be okay with it. If they get what he's worth, I would be okay with it. But it would suck. I'll always love the guy. It's been so fun to watch him, but.
Yeah.
So I think the good thing is like you guys wouldn't. It sounds crazy to say
we still have a lot of
got good
depth.
pass rushers after like Herbig.
And we
awesome.
I love Herbig.
Herbig's
is
great.
That guy forced he had like 4 or 5 turnovers last year.
Drafted Harmon.
That
Oregon
guy's going to be a
tackle.
monster. The
Keanu
Peyton Wilson guy is already playing great.
That's right. The Wisconsin linebacker.
Yep. So.
Another good one. Highsmith. Dude, I mean, you've got
Highsmith
guys.
is pretty slept on too. I think Highsmith makes
Hayward's still there playing decent. Keanu Benton is
Dude, Hayward
really
had
good.
a fantastic season last year.
And all of a sudden, though, if you get good quarterback play from one of the best to ever do it, Aaron Rodgers, you have the defense you got the coach you got, and all of a sudden you're looking at the Steelers like we kind of do every year, I feel like, where it's like they're in the playoffs.
Well, they drafted Jack Sawyer too, the Ohio State DN. So dude, they've got depth. They're secondary too. Like I don't know if you have their depth chart pulled up, but I mean, it's an older secondary. Don't get me wrong.
That's just what worries me, man. And
didn't they sign
They signed Darius Slade Jr.
Yes.
They traded for Jalen Ramsey. They have Deshaun Elliott and Juan Thornhill at safety, which is a pretty good tandem.
Deshaun Elliott was an absolute savage for us last year.
It's
he
a
was
good
the
safety
best player
tandem
on defense last year.
And then Joey Porter Jr.
You lose Minka Fitzpatrick though, and he was a big part of that defense.
It's true.
But I think Jalen Ramsey, you've kind of been an advocate for him maybe switching more to a safety role
or even nickel, like somewhere where he doesn't have to show that his legs are 30 years old
or go one-on-one against the top. Did
you see Jamar Chase's list of top 5 quarterbacks?
I did. Wasn't Denzel Ward that his number one?
Ward.
I believe
Joey Porter Jr. was like number 2.
Was he really?
Yes.
Yeah. It's always
probably because there's so much familiarity.
Joey's
Those are
been
two.
good.
Maybe
he just draws too many flags, but he's been pretty.
He's a good
It's
corner.
So funny to hear the different receivers come out and say of who the best
Right.
are. Where
it probably has a lot to do with the division.
It just
see him
shows.
twice a year.
It shows how talented all these guys are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To how
Absolutely.
I mean the talent gap, especially at I would say one of the hardest positions, corner.
The hardest position.
One of them when it comes to athletic ability outside of quarterback. Yeah. It does, and it's also cool to get to earn respect,
right?
When normally you're not getting talked about all that much. Some of the guys that he listed.
Sure. That's a good thing. Yeah,
I will. I know. I said I don't respect anything about the Browns, but Denzel Ward is an absolute savage. He is crazy.
He's just been.
I love watching him his clips covering a receiver. How he does it. He literally is a mind reader. It's insane.
Yeah.
That guy is a really good football
So
player.
last question to you though.
Oh yeah.
So do the Steelers what do you want to happen when it comes to you guys have been stuck in this I think mediocrity of have an average season, make the playoffs, then lose, and then it's like
never get a high draft.
Never get a high draft pick, never get.
It's a perfect. I said this I think when we first started this show, one of the first things we talked about was the Steelers and how they are in probably the worst position that you could be in sports is where you are always good enough to make the playoffs, but you're never good enough to get past the other teams that make the playoffs.
Well, I think there's worse.
So
you could be a Bears
It's
fan.
the most annoying. Oh, that's fair. You know what? I can't say anything about that. But it's that they're going to make it every time. But it's you also have the thought in the back of your mind. It's okay. Do we really have enough firepower to make it?
Are we winning the Super Bowl this year? Absolutely not. I know we're not.
So what? So say they don't say they have a losing season. What where is it finally time
this is
to
where
have a head coach?
Yeah, this is where I'm sick of the Tomlin special, the 9-8, 10-7 every year, and we literally lose in the playoff games by it's not even close. Especially the last one wasn't too bad. It was 14, and then we lost to the Bills by 20, and then what was the year before that?
Is that the Browns one?
I think that was 2020.
There was one year where you guys played the Dolphins, I remember.
Or with Skylar Thompson.
No, because the Dolphins
that.
haven't won a playoff game in the 20th.
I do remember that though. They did make the playoffs, and Tuna was like dead. Tua was dead.
The Dolphins played the Chiefs that year, and
that was the Chiefs.
and they were in Kansas City.
Yeah,
freezing.
it was like the coldest game ever. Yeah,
and they from the hottest state.
Hey, we'll take your coach.
Yeah,
I'll take
him.
Well, what I've said is if the Steelers don't have a good year, they finally are like, okay, we need someone new.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if the Dolphins don't have a good year or Atlanta doesn't have a good year, Mike Tomlin goes to one of those two teams, in my opinion.
I just think I think Tomlin was a good coach, but I just think he's a little overrated, and I think everyone thinks he's like a top 5 coach in the league. And I don't know, if you go back to 2005 when Bill Cowher won the Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger and that whole roster, the Hines Ward, James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, Ryan Clark, that whole Steelers, like those dominant years, they won again in 2008 with arguably Bill Cowher's team. Mike Tomlin was only coach for 2 years, and I mean, obviously he's doing something right, to get there. Yeah. And then he did go to the Super Bowl versus the Packers in 12, I think, 12 or 13.
It was something like that.
We lost that game. That sucked. I actually liked what you guys talked about on the last episode. Would you rather your team make it to the Super Bowl and lose or not make it at all? And I think I would rather my team make it. But for like talking about what we're talking about right now, I think playoffs, I would rather my team not make it. And build.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of fall under the same category as me being a Patriots fan, to where we have been a little spoiled with
absolutely.
winning Super Bowls, winning playoff games, to where someone like him over here who hasn't had anything, they're dying to just be in the playoff conversation.
Fiending for
I agree with that argument.
So that to me is why I think I think fall under the same category I do, to where we've been a little spoiled, which is fine. Right. It happens. You could say that about Chiefs fans right now. You could say that about Patriots. And we were doing that.
But Andy Reid just needed to change the scenery, and look what he did.
I agree.
Sometimes a coach like Tomlin can go to Miami, and we could win 2 Super Bowls.
Not with Mr.
Everyone started laughing.
To build on that, if they, because they're projected by Vegas 8.5 wins, which is a losing season.
Yeah.
And so, like, who would you want at head coach for the Steelers?
Yeah, so say you guys do fire, and
do you have any ideas?
Yeah,
honestly, not. I haven't really given a lot of thought to it because I don't know who would even be available. I could list names.
That's true.
I mean, I could say, I want Dan Campbell. He's not leaving.
Well, like that is a good point.
Or even Sean. I would love a Sean McVay, like we were talking earlier.
Which coaches are even on the hot seat?
Hey, Belichick.
I would do that.
Would you take Belichick?
Steelers? Oh my god, that would be crazy.
The guy has 6 rings. Bro.
That would be awesome.
This just in, Steelers fans saying he wants Bill Belichick.
I would take
the Arthur Fist meme? That would be Dawson the second season.
I don't know why you hate us so much. It's not like you guys always beat us every time we got.
It's not that I hate you guys. I think what annoys me the most about Steelers fans.
He got bullied by Steelers fans.
Well, his mother got bullied by a Steelers fan when she was in middle school.
There is no such thing as a
teacher
Steelers fan bully, Chris. There is no such thing.
So I think it stems from they were always like, it was always like they thought they were always better than us when we did always beat them. So it was like, just shut up. Like, you're the annoying little brother that has never been able to beat us, but you talk this crazy shit.
We did hate you guys too. Like, it was we would have won freaking 5 more Super Bowls during that era, probably.
Peyton Manning would have been up there too.
It was always the Patriots in the. I mean, we got the best of y'all a few times, but you guys definitely were the winners there.
I mean, just dealing with Brady and Manning in that conference for 20 years.
Naturally, I mean, I think we can agree with this. We were going to hate each other because the Steelers and the Patriots owned the AFC for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, it was just those two. Like, and then you had
those teams that had a good year, like when the
Ravens every once in a while.
Was it 9 Saints with Drew Brees? Yeah,
yeah.
Then you had Peyton Manning take the Colts one year and then take the Broncos another year. But
Colts beat us.
But yeah, I think I would rather my team tank at this point to get draft picks and rebuild. And that's where I was kind of frustrated this year. At first, it seemed like we were trying to be good again. Like when we signed DK and you still had George Pickens. And Pickens is a head case, but I thought the guy was so freaking
he's so talented. He's just
DK on one side and Pickens on the other. Re-sign Russ, get the line better.
Yeah.
Keep the defense was fine. Just tweak some things that fell apart. That's a football team right there. And then we signed DK to this massive contract. We paid him over $100 million. I forget what the exact.
It was $100 million exactly. I think it was like 4 years, $100 million.
Yeah, and then you get rid of George Pickens, and I'm just like, the whole point was to have 2 receivers. That's been our problem on offense. We're so easy to cover because you just have to worry about one receiver.
Here's the thing, though. That might be kind of an indicator of how much they believe in Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson.
Yeah, and that's
like I said, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin is listed as wide receiver 2 right now on y'all's depth chart.
Yeah,
and so and you have Scotty Miller. You've got speedy guys that can get open. Which Aaron Rodgers loves.
Scotty's sneaky. I still like Scotty.
You guys could be
Scotty
a
has
fast
a ring, right?
offense.
Didn't he play for the Bucs?
Yeah, he was on the Buccaneers.
He played for Bucs with Brady,
right? But more importantly, I think y'all's running game is going to be revamped. With I was so mad at you guys when you took Caleb Johnson because I wanted him so bad.
I liked him a lot.
Him and Jalen Warren together are going to be scary.
And I think Jalen Warren is so slept
on. Oh, he's very underrated.
The guy has been better than Najee the past 2 years.
Absolutely.
And he was hurt a little bit at the beginning of the year, but you saw the difference when he got healthy again. He is literally a bowling ball, man. He's like 5'8". He's like 5'8", 180, just freaking bouncing off everybody again, and I love that guy.
Like, I like how the offense looks. And y'all's tight ends, too. Freiermuth, Johnny Smith.
Yeah,
Darnell
that trade,
Washington.
though, should we talk about the trade for a second?
Jalen Ramsey, Johnny Smith.
I personally was not a big fan. I've seen all different types of grades that the Dolphins won it. I've seen some that say the Steelers won it, but I just think we're such an older team already that you have another few years with Mika. And again, I know Mika didn't have the flashiest season last year, but the guy plays his position well, regardless if he's getting interceptions all the time or not.
He's going back to the team.
And people are scared of him. Like, he's like a Ryan Clark. Yeah. Those receivers know if they catch that ball, they're getting smoked. They're getting smoked. And Mika will take the flag, and they know that, you know?
I agree.
And I think you're trading a 28-year-old Mika for a 30-year-old Ramsey who, I mean, maybe he still got it pretty good, but he's not the Jalen Ramsey he was 5 years ago. We can all agree on that majorly. And for an additional tight end that it's going to fit right into Arthur Smith's little 5-yard dump offs because he liked Johnny Smith. He played in Atlanta,
the
right?
Screens,
the little screens. And I'm not a big Arthur Smith guy either at this point.
I don't think anybody is. Anybody that has Arthur Smith on their team calling plays is like,
and I forget who it was last year. Arthur signed somebody else that he used to play with to do something similar. But it looks like it's going to be another little one of his plays, and he got a whole tight end for that. When you have Pat Freiermuth, who I think is really good, just hasn't had a great quarterback to.
He's been hurt a lot, too. He's been a lot of injuries.
He stayed pretty healthy last year, but I think he's a great tight end. You have that monster, Darnell Washington, that's 6'9".
You know Connor Hayward got moved to fullback?
No way.
He sells fullback
I did not see
listed
that.
on the depth chart. That's actually kind of cool.
And Connor Hayward would make a good play every once in a while. Like, he would make a good play.
This is to keep him on the field,
our tight end depth was
keep him on the team,
was perfectly fine. But
y'all have, Freiermuth, Johnny Smith, Darnell Washington, and Connor Hayward. That's a really good tight end room. Like, that's really good.
But you don't need that.
No, you don't.
I would have rather kept Mika, and you keep Jalen or Ramsey and Johnny Smith.
It's going to be interesting, that division in general. But
we'll see.
So we'll
see how it plays out.
To wrap up the division, final questions of the division. So I think my division winner, I'm going to go with the Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. That would probably be my preseason everything before, I know anything can happen.
Right.
But I'm probably going to go Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns my top 4.
I think that's the most accurate, non-delusional.
That's your order too?
Technically it would be, but I'm gonna mix it up a tiny bit. Free. I'm going to put the Ravens at 1. And I'm going to put the Steelers at 2. That the Bengals still can't get it all together on defense. And Joe Burrow still has a great season and does everything, but they're just still not consistent enough. I'll put the Bengals at 3 by 1 game right behind us, and then I'll put the Brownies at 4.
That's fair.
With their 2 wins.
I've been dancing back and forth with this.
You have that. You're going to put the Bengals at 1?
You kidding me?
The Bengals are going to win.
Playoffs?
Okay. I think the Bengals are going to win. Joe Burrow wins MVP. I think the Bengals win it. But Ravens are right behind them. I think they only win that division because I think the Bengals finally at least split with the Ravens, if not win both games. And then, Ravens 2, Steelers 3. But I think all 3 teams make the playoffs. And then I think the Browns are down there picking first.
And
overall.
this division is always, I think, extremely fun to watch.
I think all three teams.
Like these division games are some of the best when it comes to.
Absolutely.
So when these games are on, when these division games are on, I always tend to watch them just because they're always very competitive.
Oh, they're great.
Physical.
Last question though, Dylan had for Flynn.
Yeah, so I heard you're a UFC fan. I myself
dude.
am a very big UFC fan.
Okay.
I watch most of the cards. I will be watching the Poirier Holloway fight this week.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It's his retirement. It's his retirement fight, man. I'm gonna cry.
In recent news, they have announced that next summer they are planning to have a UFC
House.
card in the White House.
White House card.
And names such as McGregor and John Jones have been thrown around as potential participants. Are we buying into that? Do we do they actually come out of retirement and fight?
That is
the White
such
House?
a crazy thing that I would say it has to be possible. But with how much John Jones has been ducking and everything,
you think that Aspinall and John Jones fight? So let's say because Derek Lewis just won.
Yes.
He just had a big
and then
win.
Did you see that he picked up the phone and they said he was talking to the
Aspinall
president?
and Derek Lewis. I think Aspinall and Derek Lewis fight at the end of the year this year.
Really?
For the title.
No.
I think so. Because Derek Lewis, outside of Aspinall, is like the top contender. And so I think that belt is up. And then July, whenever the White House fight happens, John Jones and Aspinall. And then he beats him.
It would be awesome, but I think John Jones would do it. And he's a big he's a big fan of the president right now and everything. Yeah. So I think he
McGregor.
would. And look, that guy is on a whole. Did you see the
yesterday?
Yes,
I have.
And I'm sorry, but say what you want. Having a UFC card,
it would be in the
White House lawn.
Dude, that would be insane.
Sick. I mean, I don't care what side you're on. I don't care what you think.
Insane.
That would be really cool.
What other names do you think would fight on that card?
Dana was
how many different legends?
Dana was at the press conference. He said every fighter wants on it. Every fighter.
Of course.
You could
imagine like a weekend. It's like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Fight night. You could have the biggest card in UFC history there for sure, and every fighter is going to want a part of it. I mean, I could go down the whole roster. I mean, you're going to have like a Gaethje versus Holloway on there. You're going to have another one. You're going to have tons of stuff. All the biggest names are going to want to be on there. Poirier is going to come out of retirement to fight.
I was going to say, do you think anyone
Poirier
comes out of
versus
retirement?
Ilya to give Poirier one last title shot?
So actually, let's build on that. What do you think about Ilya?
Dude, absolute monster. He is the modern day better version of Conor McGregor when he was in his prime.
I agree.
I have not seen anybody knock out legends like this.
Are you familiar with Ilya, the guy from Georgia?
In the first rounds.
My knowledge on this is not my expertise.
Oh, man.
This is why
that guy is an absolute.
If you want to see an animal in the cage, look up Ilya.
I think when you're really looking at it, regardless of what side you're on, regardless of what you think,
it's fun.
It would be really freaking cool if they had a UFC fight night on the freaking White House lawn.
That would be awesome. Imagine how the world's gonna look at us.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
Like these guys, they put a Coliseum in front of their White House.
That's the most American thing you could do.
That is the most American thing you could do.
More power.
It would be
more
awesome.
power.
Hey, well, anyway, that's gonna wrap up today's episode. Thank you again, Flynn, for coming on today. Terrible towel. Never thought I'd be here. Steelers fan.
It made
very unbiased takes. I know we mentioned it last week with Colin, to where he had a Michael Penix MVP speech written.
No,
I don't think Flynn had anything like that.
No TJ Watt defensive player of the year.
That one's more realistic.
I think so.
TJ could win it again.
I think so.
Penix is not.
But yes, no. Thank you again. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. We got a lot of great feedback on last week's episode. And that will wrap up episode 47. Thank you again, Flynn. We will see you guys next time.
It's been real, guys.